the Cova Tembel podcast, global news and personal views, hosted by your new friend, Yaron. Welcome. Come in, sit right next to the buffet table, and make yourselves right at home.
Hello everyone, my name is Yaron and welcome to the Cova Tembel podcast. If this is your first time, welcome, and if you are coming back, you're also welcome. Well, I'm here again to discuss issues that are on my mind. This is episode 3 of the Cova Tembel podcast, and I'm very happy that you are alive and well enough to listen to my ranting and raving and going on about stuff. This podcast has captured the ear of wonderful folk from the US, the UK, and even Australia. So hello there. And I hope to increase this circle of friends that is the Cova Tembel podcast. So if you like the topics that I talk about, please tell people. And this episode's topics, here we go. The hostage situation, a sign of life. Amsterdam, how low can the Netherlands go? Life lessons I learned from the 2024 US elections. The DJ Corner, a Cova Tembel song called America. We're going to be also talking briefly about an Australian documentary called Singing Up the Past. And another topic that I wanted to complete from last episodes is what I called more, less, or artificial intelligence. And this is my merger attempt at putting together Tesla's, Einstein's, and Schrödinger's concepts. And we'll see how I put it together. It's going to be interesting. Well, to me anyway. After that rant, I'm going to be giving you this week in history, and then a silly parting joke. So here we go. Well, 101 children, women, and men are still being held captive in Gaza by Hamas and other terroristic organizations. Today, a video showing a hostage, Sasha Trufanov, a man who was captured along with a friend and family members who had been released, is alive, and his captors released a video of him, which gives us all a sign of life and of hope. The negotiations are still ongoing, and let's hope and pray that a breakthrough will happen very soon. It's about time. Enough is enough. Now, in a related matter, you might have heard about last week, Israeli soccer fans were attacked by a pro-Palestinian mob of dozens in Amsterdam, which is the capital of Holland. And the videos were quite horrible. Some Israeli soccer fans were beaten and kicked, and other victims were victims of a hit and run. And about 20 to 30 fans apparently were injured, and some were treated in the local hospital. From what I understand, several people are being held in custody in connection with this heinous attack. And according to the website Volkskrant, I believe I'm saying it wrong. It's a Volkskrant.nl. Quote, the National Coordinator for Counterterrorism and Security, NCTV, specifically addressed the threat surrounding the Ajax Maccabi match because it coincided with the commemoration of Kristallnacht in the capital. Just to clarify the matter, there is something new that I didn't know about it during the broadcast of the, when they first broadcast the videos out of Amsterdam, is that the police, the Dutch police, said that some Maccabi fans were seen attacking a taxi and burnt a Palestinian flag before the game, and there's a video that showed Israeli soccer fans singing death to the Arabs and let the IDF win. This is out of NBCnews.com. I will leave the link in the description. That's quite disturbing. I didn't hear that before, and not that it justifies such a just a heinous, barbaric attack on people, but we need to get to the bottom of this. The attack on that day, got a condemnation from Biden, who said that the attacks echo, and I quote, dark moments in history when Jews were persecuted. Now, let me also talk about something that made me upset with the mainstream media. When I went online to read some of the coverage, I went into Reuters.com, and this is some of what they had to say, and I quote, anti-Semitic incidents have surged in the Netherlands since Israel launched its assault on the Palestinian enclave of Gaza after the attacks on Israel by Hamas militants in October last year. Well, the use of the harsh word assault when it comes to Israel, and the use of the relatively softened words attacks and Hamas militants as compared to what really happened shows how skewed some of Reuters reporting is when it comes to Israel. So I'm just wondering who Reuters are pandering to. I mean, I thought Reuters was, a balanced, fair, they used to say that about CNN, fair and balanced coverage and reporting. But those little words and the meanings that they give off are different than what a lot of what really happened. Anyway, I will leave the link to the Reuters article below. On another issue that came out of that whole incident, I read that some of the headlines call the attacks a pogrom. Now, here's another thing with words. I wouldn't call the attacks by the pro-Palestinian mob on the Israeli soccer fans a pogrom because it, I feel, would diminish the meaning of the word as it pertains to the violent attacks Jews had suffered under different regimes, like in Russia, for example, where, entire villages were attacked and the entire population had to relocate. The I think what happened in Amsterdam was more like a lynch. It's bad enough, but I wouldn't call it a program as in respect to what happened to many people around the world when they were attacked, beaten, pillaged, and had to relocate. That's not what happened in Amsterdam. That's how I feel about it. I think words can make a big difference, and we have to be fair. And the attack apparently was planned a few days in advance. I'm not sure what happened there. I mean, it's you want to just live your life and go and have fun and have a go to a sports event and just enjoy. And apparently the Mossad had warned Dutch authorities prior to the attack, but no action was taken to protect the soccer fans, and that's a little disappointing. You want to keep a free liberal city like Amsterdam friendly for everyone. Now, a related story comes from the U.S. Like many leaders around the world condemned the attack in Amsterdam, but one person took it further. Bill Ackman, the billionaire who founded the hedge fund Pershing Square Holdings, said that, and this is according to Forbes.com, that he requested the fund's board approval to, quote, remove the company's listing from Amsterdam's stock exchange, citing a series of anti-Semitic attacks in the Dutch city. Apparently, Bill Ackman is also on the board of Universal Music Group and has suggested that they move its listing from Amsterdam to the US. I'm interested to know what you think about this. Is taking these steps, economical steps, good for the cause? Is it going too far? Maybe it's not going far enough. Anyway, to leave this issue with a bit of humor, just watch yourself next time when you say "Let's go Dutch." All right. By the way, if you remember, Bill Ackman heavily criticized Harvard University. If you remember, Bill Ackman was studied at Harvard University in the past, and could have been instrumental in removing Claudine Gay. Remember her? She was the president, and so this dude is really consistent in his support for Israel, as opposed to someone like George Soros.
Oh, really?
Now let's talk about the lessons I took away from the 2024 US elections. That day has come and gone, and the winner of the 2024 US elections is Donald J. Trump, who will take office on January 20th, 2025. Now, having lived in Israel for over 27 years, I've lived through quite a few elections. Those who live in Israel know what I'm talking about. And what I have learned is that election results are not the actual results. What I mean is that I won't judge a leader but by what he or she says, and not even by the actions he or she takes, but by the results of those actions. A lot of media people talk about what could happen, but just end up scaring the life out of their listeners. We do that to ourselves too. That's that's the first lesson. We terrorize ourselves with the visions of doom and gloom and put our minds into a downward spiral towards a state of depression. And one of the takeaways from the US elections is that, stop scaring yourself into panic, a panic attack. A little side note, the traditional media that has ruled television for decades seems to be dying now and seems to be trying to revive itself or make itself still relevant by sensationalizing every soundbite. And just like radio killed the video star, podcast killed the newscast. In the next weeks, I made some notes, so I'm gonna be reading some of those notes. I just didn't want to forget the lessons I learned from the 2024 US election. So forgive me if I sound like I'm reading some of my notes. So in the next few weeks, until the change of hands, President Biden has the opportunity to press Iran, Hamas and its other proxies, and Qatar and Egypt into accepting Israel's terms for a deal that will release the hostages and end suffering on both sides. I think that Biden has the opportunity to leave a legacy that is, based or rooted, I should say, in justice for the victims and survivors of the October 7th massacre. In fact, I think he can send a message to all the terrorist organizations and groups and whatnot around the world, and individuals who just want to do harm. That think that they can get what they want through bullying. Right now, Biden is not tied down by any entities that wish to weaken Israel and has the power to cut through the noise. I just hope he has the wisdom to do that and the courage. It takes a lot of courage to stand up to bullies. Another lesson that I took away from the US elections is that whenever we have the power to do good, we should take action without the fear of what people might say or do. That's quite an important lesson. As for Kamala Harris, I keep hearing that the reason that Kamala Harris lost is because she only had 3 months to campaign, but I believe she actually had 3.5 years to prove herself as a candidate worthy of leading the world's most powerful country. And although some of the issues she ran on seemed on the fringe to me, like things like taxpayers paying for sex change operations for non-citizen inmates. Most of her stands, I thought, on basic issues seemed to make sense. And I think that what made her lose is that she wasn't presenting her authentic self to the world. I found when I was watching her speak, in different debates and interviews, and whenever she had a chance to say something about her positions, I saw that her body language looked like she was trying to act like someone else. Sometimes even putting on an accent. Her hand gestures and her attempts to preach like a church minister, like Obama, while all people want is someone to have an honest conversation with, to listen and answer questions fully, without resorting to the political smoke screen techniques. People are smarter now. When they watch anyone, not just a politician, but people can now tell, because they're so exposed to so much media, they can compare. They have a lot of ways of comparing, and that's something that people do naturally. And I know I do. There's so much information out there that I think our inner authentic self is like a sieve that sifts through all the noise and takes away the authentic parts of yourself and makes it real for you whenever you're watching or listening to someone. So I think that in some ways social media and the large amount of information has made us smarter, not because we have more information, but because we are able to sift through it and make our own decisions naturally. Now Israelis, some of you might know, are notorious for getting into trouble by being direct and no nonsense, but I'd rather be having an honest conversation that challenges my viewpoints than be patronized. Maybe it will even anger me, but these honest conversations, but I will then know what buttons in me are pushable and what traumas in me need neutralizing. So that's what I'm talking about when we watch so much information and knowledge. I think a part of us knows that it's a part of us knows that it naturally gravitates towards the authentic part of us. And more about the Kamala Harris campaign, and that's another lesson I learned. The campaign for the Democratic Party raised concerns about that democracy itself would be in danger, and I think that's another reason that in my view, had something to do with her loss. Kamala Harris was selected as the Democrat candidate without a democratic election process, and I think that kind of backfired. And that if they had that process in place, it would have shown the voting public that they have a real say in choosing who will lead them to glory. That's a lesson we should all learn from. Weigh all your options before making a decision. That's another life lesson that I took away from the US elections. Another lesson, it's another very important lesson about words and meanings and intentions. The propaganda on both sides. Propaganda fails when it comes to intelligent people who know history. Calling your opponent a Hitler or saying things like it's 1933 all over again, I think went too far in trying to instill frightening ideas in people who are already frightened. Actually, if you think about it, this kind of rhetoric is a lot like the propaganda tactics used by hateful people against minority groups in Germany, and especially against European Jews. And so I thought that was duplicitous of them, of anyone, trying to make those points against the opponent. And I think when you criticize yourself so much that you begin to hate yourself, when you focus so much on the lies that others tell you about yourself, you begin to believe it, and you then cripple yourself, and you corrupt your mind to such a point that your world crumbles around you, and you are left merely with desires and nothing to show for all your hard work. All your hard work. And that's another big lesson. I think that the propaganda you tell yourself to yourself can be detrimental. That's not honesty. Propaganda isn't being honest and authentic with yourself. When you compare yourself to someone who is evil, and once you believe that, that's it. You're spiraling downwards. And I was thinking that maybe we should try in our own personal lives, not just in politics, to respect our opponents. And on the emotional level, respect the opinions that oppose our own. Respect other people's choices regarding us. If they don't want to hang out with us, that's okay. It's their choice. If they don't want to support me, okay. I live my own life as I wish. We can focus on what we have in common. Wanting things like health and prosperity, and realizing our dreams, plans and goals, and realizing our potential. That kind of attitude will lead to personal inner peace, I believe, and then lead to world peace. Hallelujah, amen. Anyways, those are some of the lessons I learned. Be authentic, speak good of yourself and others, be kind to your mind, weigh all available options, take inspired action, and then send yourself a Hallmark card with all that wisdom. And now let's get into the DJ portion of our podcast, this episode. In the previous episode, I played you So It Goes, but I failed to mention that the singer is Amiram Aini. And this week I have another musical treat for you from the Cova Tembel music project, and it comes to you in the spirit of the US elections, a song called America. The original Hebrew lyrics were written by the wonderful Hannah Goldberg. The translation into English was done by yours truly for the Cova Tembel music project. And the music was composed by the awesome Corinne El Al. The song America, that you will hear soon in just a moment, was performed by Nashville singer Les Ford, who also played all the live instruments. So enjoy.
If you want to hear a horse that speaks and meet good folk with rosy cheeks, just come to America. Click your heels and you'll slide a rainbow home from the northern tip of Eurasia and the west of Africa. They come to America. Every love fits like a velvet glove. So if you want to find your true love, just come to America. And if you want pennies from above, and any life you've ever dreamed of, just come to America. They say the streets are paved with solid gold. They take the shirt off their back for you and drive family cars. So come to America. Every love fits like a velvet glove. So if you want to find your true love, just come to America. And if you want pennies from above, and any life you've ever dreamed of, just come to America. If you want to hear a horse that speaks and meet good folk with rosy cheeks, just come to America. Click your heels and you'll slide a rainbow home from the northern tip of Eurasia and the west of Africa. They come to America. Every love fits like a velvet glove. So if you want to find your true love, just come to America. And if you want pennies from above, and any life you've ever dreamed of, just come to America.
I hope you like that song, America, and I hope you enjoyed the musical interlude between all my talking and going on and on. And if you do like the content, please like, share, comment, subscribe, and tell all your friends about the best new podcast in the world, and then let them know about mine as well. Let's go to Australia. In Melbourne, Australia, on November 14th, there will be a screening of Singing Up the Past documentary at the Event Cinema in Elsternwick. That's for our listeners down under. And I'll let you know a little bit about Singing Up the Past, the documentary about Guta Goldstein, who has kept alive a repertoire of songs from the Lodge Ghetto and from camps that she continues to perform in private. As a child in the ghetto, the songs gave Guta distraction, hope, and entertainment. From the little that I could see online, the story is fascinating, and I hope you go see it. And check it out at the website singingupthepast.com for you listeners down under. And
on behalf of the flight crew, thank you for flying with us and have a pleasant stay.
Okay, now let me get back into talking about artificial intelligence, and at least my philosophical point of view about artificial intelligence. Last week I talked about the idea that we need less artificial intelligence. I think that the danger of AI, in my opinion, is not in its ability to take over and enslave humans, but in rehashing the history of this world and turning it into a dog that basically chases its tail until it dies. And by dying, I mean that it becomes something irrecognizable from its previous state. But last week I felt that I didn't make my point clear, and I wanted to intersect three ideas to hopefully clarify what I'm talking about. The first idea is Nikola Tesla's idea that, and I quote, "If you want to find the secrets of the universe, think in terms of energy, frequency, and vibration." The second idea is Albert Einstein's idea that imagination is the preview of life's coming attraction. And the third idea is Erwin Schrödinger's idea that a quantum system exists in all its possible states at the same time, because until the future is here and now, it technically exists in a state of superposition of all possible scenarios. And I got this from builtin.com. I will leave the link below. And I was thinking, and you know how that is for me. And well, I was thinking, if the universe is made up of energy, frequency, and vibration, and if imagination is the preview of life's coming attraction, and if all possible states exist at the same time, then it follows that we can know whether Schrödinger's hypothetical cat is dead or alive in the box, even before we open the box, because we had created the cat to be in that state through our imagination, through making that particular event as a coming attraction in our imagination, which then ignites the energy, frequency, and vibration required for that cat in that box to exist in the desired state in the first place. What I'm trying to say is that life and death each have their own different vibration. So if we vibrate in the frequency of a live cat, then the cat would be found alive. The same with death. There is no surprise. And if we vibrate in the frequency of being surprised whether the cat is either alive or dead, whatever you choose, then we will create those surprised conditions with the imagination of being the preview of life's coming attraction. Am I making any sense? Am I missing something? Let me know, because I'm trying to figure it out myself. I'm probably not the only one asking these questions about these ideas. So, if you know more than I do about this, please let me know. Now, this intersecting of ideas brings me to talk about, at least in my mind, about how imagination is memory, or imagination as memory. And that's another note I made to myself about reality. Since imagination is a preview of life's coming attraction, that is, since imagination is like an anchor we throw from our subconscious out to our consciousness, which then drags that imagined state out onto the surface of our experienced reality, then the reality we experienced, as it flows back to the subconscious, that is the past, become memories that are stuck, quote unquote, or collected, quote unquote, in our conscious awareness. Life, it seems, is a collection of memories. If it is made up of imagination, if it's made up of energy, frequency, and vibration, then we are just a collection of memories. My body, which seems to be an integral part of my life, I think, is also a collection of memories. It is a collection of what once was previewed imagination. And well, how is this related to AI, you ask? This is related to AI because AI tools and machines, all those robots, machinery, the AI machinery, cannot imagine organically. That is, they cannot imagine on their own. They can't have the imagination, the kind of imagination that is the preview of life's coming attraction. They may be made up of energy, frequency, and vibration, but they lack the imagination required to make life a coming attraction. And I believe anyway that only a sentient being that has a mind to access the universal mind can have that potential or that natural imaginative force. In fact, we are all the same mind. I mean, the one whose imagination is the preview of life's coming attraction is the mind itself. It is imagination itself, moving itself forward or sideways or backwards or in every which way, but it's moving. That's the engine. And the human mind is only an offshoot of the universal mind. And if you let AI work on automatic pilot, it would eventually end up working itself into oblivion. Imagination will end, and so will reality. That is, the reality will change in a way that is not recognizable as humanity. We might continue to exist, but not in the human mind form. It will take another form, another shape. That is, if we let AI work on automatic pilot, it will eventually make itself obsolete. The metaphor I can think of is like AI will probably end up falling off a cliff of reality, because if humans don't interject new material into the world, then AI will not have anything to work with eventually. I mean, it depends how fast it will process ideas, and if it will process ideas faster than humans can inject into that AI pool, then it will simply fall off a cliff of nothingness. And I wanted to bring up Proverbs 29:18-19 from the King. This is the King James version, and where it says, "Where there is no vision, the people perish. But he that keepeth the law, happy is he. A servant will not be corrected by words, for though he understand, he will not answer." That's from Proverbs 29:18-19. AI may process information, but it cannot provide answers, not real answers. It cannot move imagination forwards, and therefore it cannot create a preview of life's coming attraction. And if you want to take a metaphor, let's talk about food or sustenance, and AI can provide us with empty calories, but not sustenance, not nourishment, not real life. And if we let AI proceed on automatic pilot, it will feed on itself. It will feed on itself on nothing that is organically imagined, until there is nothing more to eat, and then die, either from explosion because it cannot contain its own intelligence, or from the lack of new material to process. So if we don't keep injecting new ideas into this world, and if we rely on AI to rehash all our ideas and seemingly make them new, then it will eventually die. It will cease to exist. It's like eating empty calories made with artificial coloring and flavoring. An AI tool, even the most sophisticated robot, cannot imagine organically because it is not organically connected to the subconscious part of the universal mind. Without new doses of imagination, which is energy in motion or frequency, there is no vibration and therefore no new reality. If AI generates ideas from ideas that had been brought up from the subconscious to the conscious surface of awareness, i.e. our experienced reality, then AI-generated ideas will remain on the conscious surface and eventually petrify and wither away because it will run out of new energy to sustain itself. That is, to live only in consciousness, to live simply in the realm of the conscious experience, eventually dries up because you are never replenishing your imagination. So everything that you will imagine and everything you will preview and bring into life or attract to life will be based on old ideas that are rehashed, and eventually you will be just going around. Humanity will be going around in circles. So the whole ideas of smashing atoms, which I touched on in the previous episode of the Cova Tembel podcast, well, it seems to me that smashing atoms and trying to recreate the conditions right before the Big Bang can be created in the mind through imagination, being the preview of life's coming attraction. If we take seriously what Einstein and Tesla said, those ideas, then you don't need to smash atoms to create or recreate anything. There you go. You see, this whole thing about trying to recreate something that already happened and thereby trying to understand what happened. Well, if imagination is life's coming attraction, then you can imagine whatever you want, including the conditions right after the Big Bang, in your imagination. You can imagine it into being. And if the Big Bang, which, like I mentioned in the previous episode, I mean, there's a belief that only one Big Bang happened. I mean, who knows how many Big Bangs have happened. I mean, if you're working with an infinite universe, which I know is pretty hard to get your mind around, but if there's infinite existence and never non-existence, then it means that there is something that is eternal, something that is infinite. And at least infinite in its existence. I mean, its shape or size might change, but its existence remains constant. And if we go there, then there is no need to smash atoms or, or, or do anything else to reconstruct reality, because we are the ones who are that reality. And so I'm trying to get my thoughts together here. If the Big Bang, for example, happened in the mind, and if imagination is life's coming attraction, then you can imagine a Big Bang, or you can imagine the understanding of the conditions of the Big Bang as a preview of your own life's coming attraction. But I think that if we do want to create these conditions in this plane of conscious reality, the process will need a critical mass of humans putting their minds together and focusing on that one thing. And maybe that's what scientists are afraid of, that, you know, they will not be able to get all the mass, the critical mass of human minds thinking in that same direction. So that's my rant about AI and the ideas that are going round and round and round, and not really getting to the real heart of the matter. So the bottom line is we need more organic intelligence and less artificial intelligence. Well, it took me a long way to say it, but that's basically it. I'll probably talk more about it as I contemplate it a little more deeply. Okay, let's jump into our next segment, This Week in History.
This Week in History.
Okay, This Week in History. This is from onthisday.com, and you can check out more events that happen on this day on that website, that wonderful website actually. November 10th, 1855. November 10th, 1855. German engineer Gottlieb Daimler unveils the world's first motorcycle. November 10th, 1989. Germans begin demolishing the Berlin Wall. November 11th, 1922. Author Kurt Vonnegut is born. I believe he died in 2007 after having been locked up in the meat locker by the Pluto gang. November 12th, 2018. Stanley Martin Lieber, better known as Stan Lee, the comic book artist and Marvel creative leader, dies at 95. November 13th, 1858. The great bell of Big Ben first chimes at the foot of the still unfinished clock tower outside the Palace of Westminster. November 14th, 1908. Albert Einstein's quantum theory of light sees light. November 14th, 1948. King Charles III was born and will turn 75 this year. Born the same year as the State of Israel. Happy birthday, Charles. Your birthday falafel is on me. November 15, 1904. Smooth operator King C. Gillette patents the Gillette razor blade. And that was the this week in history, and I will end up with the a silly parting joke from Reader's Digest at rd.com. Two artists had an art contest. It ended in a draw. I told you it was silly. Well, don't hold it against me. I hope you have a nice day anyway. Well, okay. Thank you very much, Home Planet listeners. I hope you have enjoyed this episode. See you again next week with more topics that may well be interesting that time around. Let me know in the comments if there are any issues you'd like me to discuss in the future. So until next time, take care of yourselves and be kind to one another.
You just listened to the Cova Tembel podcast. God help you.
What are you still doing here?